All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Let me see this. Share. And let me know if you can see.
I can see.
Okay, thank you. Good. So I'm going to come over here, jump into this place, walk you. So whatever it is you score in your midterm lab now, that's not your final score. If you hate what you score, just so you watch this lab exercise again, and then I'm going to open it up again for another 5 days, and then go back ahead and do it. So, and I want to make sure we all get this one right, because there's a good chance that you will see something like this in the final, only that in the final you don't have opportunity for a makeup. So take advantage of this opportunity, and let's get it right. The first part of what I want to correct here, I think most people here actually get that right. And I'll try and see if I can, go over on this section and open this up. And if I do, let me minimize this screen so I can bring what I want to share with you guys here. So here is somebody's work. So the fellow tell me the PCAP number, which was great, but number does is not enough. Here is an excellent work. This is what I will call excellent work. It makes it easier. It shows me the command that he typed. I can see that. And it shows me the steps. So provide answer. At the same time, show what you did to arrive at it. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So you can go back and watch this video, because I'm going to put up this video on YouTube again. But I wanted to see what an example of what I wanted to do. So when you come over here and I told you and say, dictate the content of what you have over here, in the question itself, I'd already listed all the files that I wanted to possibly, check. You could run through all kinds of scenario. Once you find the right one, you run this, take a screenshot, and show me like this. How would you have done this? Let me actually step through this for you. One second. So here I have, going to go back to my midterm. That's week 9 here. Excuse me. So you have this active scan, which I'm going to download, and I'd already downloaded them. You also have this T-Shark, exam file, which I'm also going to walk through with you. And the last, aspect of this one is, one second here. I want to make sure that I had this. I think this one is hidden. This is not the one I gave you guys. Okay, yeah, this one. Okay, I gave you guys a detect the content using T-Shark. Which of the following packet contains any of the following types of files? This was the question that I gave you. So what do you want to go and do? You have this list, but you don't know which one of this one is. So this is the approach to tackle it. The first thing you want to do is what is the file signature for PNG. I'll give you guys how to do that. Come to the file signature, Gary Kessler, Control F, type PNG. I can tell right away, this is it. So, and I gave you a kind of an example last week in the class of how to do this. Here's my lab environment. I believe you have yours too. And come over here. I'm going to put up my CMD. Don't use this one. Use this option here. And I have this. I have my stuff in my analysis folder. And I'm going to use T-Shark. And I walk you guys through a little bit of an example of what, you will do when you're running your T-Shark. It's very similar to what you guys have here earlier on. And I will expand a little bit on this, step shortly. So come over here. Let me pull up my virtual machine again. Okay. So I need to run T-Shark to read all the file content. Mine is inside this act host traces. And the file that I have here is inside this place. So analysis unknown files. And I have all the files here. So type T-Shark to read these files. Start from number 1. Use your tab key, so I've said earlier on. And then it's a matter of now just specifying what files I want to look at. You can use -y and then say HTTP contains, and I'll specify, the file that I had copied earlier on here. Remember, I got this from this, this page. Because I don't know which of those, which of these files have PNG. I don't know. PNG could be number 3 or 4 or 5. So I'm just going to have to run it through all of them. So I've copied this one here. And come back over here, put my colon, come back over here, put my colon, come back over here, put my colon. Now, depending on how you have done your stuff, you can simply do this. Now, if you run this through your file, if there are no, obvious mistake, right, it will return something back to you. Now, so I did this one and say, oh, packet number 1 returns 1 over here. Well, I don't know if PNG is only number 1. So I'm going to come over here. Look at what I'm doing now. I run this one over here as well. I'll go to my number 2 because I already have my pick file. I have my files over here. I'm just going to run through the same thing. But I didn't find anything in 2. I'll go back here, change this 1 to 3. There's nothing in 3. Go back over here. Nothing in 4. And I'll go all the way down until I exhaust the list. Having exhausted the list, if I feel like, okay, PNG file is found only in this realm, then that's fine. I'm just going to come back over here, clear my screen up, then I will type what I typed the first time. I have this one, then I will take a screenshot. See what I'm saying? I would take a screenshot here at this point, and that's very relatively something easy to do. Come over here, take your screenshot.
I can learn to understand.
Snip. I take my snip picture here. And that's it. Then I'll just come over here and paste. So if I have a document that I'm using to prepare my result, I'm just kind of just going all the way to show you that this is a very relatively easy thing to do. So I will have just simply just say, you know, 1.pcap. You don't have to follow exactly the format that I'm using over here. What you're just saying is the first packet contains PNG. Here is your evidence. That's very, very similar to what one of your colleagues did in the class here. Just show the steps. That's it. That's all you got to do. Again, this is being recorded on video, so you can go back and watch it again.
Can I step in for a second here?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah.
I guess my issue here is I did that, and I did all that, and you said I didn't add any screenshots, and I went back and double checked, and I definitely did.
I'll be happy to take a look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, Jimmy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll check it during when we have a break.
All right.
Yeah, so take a look at your stuff. If you did that and I accidentally, give a comment that you didn't, please let me know. I will absolutely, go back and modify it. And please, my grade is not infallible. I can make a mistake.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So the same format goes to this other way. And one of the reasons why I'm walking everybody through this is because I want you to understand what it is exactly. You understand what I'm saying? So that when you go back to look at what you need to do, the expectation is clearly understood. So that's what you have to do for this. Now, this is the area that I think most people, I think the majority of people, otherwise I would say almost 95% or 97% of the class did very, very well on the first side. So that's why I'm spending so much time on this one. And again, for probably less than 5% who didn't quite do well on the first part, I will show you an example of what I'm looking for. Is there any more question on this one? Okay, so that's really what you have to do. You can go back to the second item over here and say, well, what is the second item? It's PDF. All right, fine. Come over here and go to PDF. And if you find any PDF over here, you can easily just grab, make a copy of this. And if you do one, you really have done it all, right? Because they are just repetitors. At the same time, if you miss one, you could be missing the rest of the stuff because it's just a repetition. There's really nothing, in here that is really, unique. So come over here, for example, I can type this command again. Go to this command, and instead of using the file signature that I used for PNG earlier on, I'll just come over here and paste, paste the same thing for PDF that I just created over here. And I will come over here, put, colon in it. And run through this. Now there's nothing in 1. I just go to 2. Now you can see it's in 2. Having done that, because you only want to show me the area where you have the evidence, take this one, take a screenshot of this. And I would say PDF is in, packet number 2. And that should definitely be sufficient. Again, if you have something like this, that will really kind of help you to kind of step through what it is that you have done. And because this evidence over here is what actually shows that this number, you're just not picking it up from, from thin here. That's that first part. The second part, and I think this doesn't apply to 90-something% of you guys. I think most of you guys did excellently well on that. And again, that was on the previous video that we watched in the class. And you don't have to do anything super special here. It's very similar to what I showed you guys on the video. When you are breaking down, analyzing the header, just take a screenshot and say, okay, the first one, IP header length, this is how I got it. You can see what this, individual, did. IP version 4, which is the first 4 bits of the byte offset 0, and he highlighted it. This is his way of doing it, and different people use different types of method. But as long as you show me your the packet, that you're analyzing, and the one-liner here, you make grading very easy, and you have 100% of your point. You can see this one over here. Just kind of step through what you're doing. That makes, again, I think most of you guys did, excellently well, on this other side. This is another person's work, right? See how he did it? Again, the consistent theme is he's showing me what he's analyzing as it goes. Now, if you forgot this, you can go back and watch it on video. But again, just take a screenshot of what you're doing, and that should be sufficient, for what I'm looking for. Here's another person's submission. Again, show an arrow that shows, okay, this fellow knows what he's referring to. And you can see this fellow doesn't even type much. All he just says type of service 00, he pointed an arrow to it, that's sufficient. You don't have to write a lot of stuff, and once you do that, that makes, your work a lot, easier in terms of analyzing the packet. And that's really, the review of the midterm lab in summary. So I'm going to open it, today is 13. I'm going to open it till next week, Monday. Today's Wednesday. Yeah, I'll open it till next week, Tuesday. So that will give you roughly another 6-5 days to go back and correct what you didn't do quite well. Now, if you're kind of struggling, like, I know what to do, but I don't know how to do it. That's a different thing. And you feel like, I've seen this video, but my environment, somehow something is just going on and I need some help. Reach out to me. One of the things I can do, even if our time doesn't work out, I can actually pair you with someone in my class who has gotten this side. It will be like a student-to-student, tutoring or peering, and that might be, further helpful, for you. So again, take a look at this. The reason you see me stomping on this one is because, you know, it's also in your finals. And I want to make sure that by the time we get into these finals, everybody's totally comfortable. Everybody knows, you know, how to work their way around. And this thing is a lot easier than what it might appears to be. All right, I'm going to stop there and take questions. Any questions so far in terms of expectation for the midterm lab? Is there any question? And like Jamie, you know, if you think like you followed everything that I showed you over here and you have less than a passport score, please let me know. You know, you can ping me offline or send me a text, and I will definitely go back and take a look at it and I'll make sure that I'm not missing anything. Again, if you need help, like, you know, you're like, oh, okay, now I understand what you want me to do, but I'm still kind of struggling with how, you know, sometimes just a little help might, you know, get you started. So whatever grade you have in your midterm lab now, that's not your final grade. So you have about another week. Go ahead and make it up, and you should be good to go. All right, any questions? All right. So let's take 5 minutes break. And then when we get back, we're going to jump right into some of the other stuff that we have for today. Again, there's a little class exercise at the end of the class today, and I'll take my attendance as well. So don't go too far. All right, let's take a 5 minutes break. All right, okay, now, if you don't want to be, you know, perpetually, you know, on video for the rest of the semester, mute your microphone, you know, because I'm recording this session and I'm going to put it on YouTube. So if you do anything funny, you know, I mean, you'll be like there for the rest of the semester. I will not want that to happen. So yeah, exactly. So try and be in your best behavior. If you give your credit card information on microphone unknowingly, and the rest of the cards go spending on your credit card, don't blame me for that, please. This is live microphone, and you know, let's just try and be in our best behavior, and I think we'll be just fine. All right. Okay. So the next thing that I want to go over, I'm going to go over about deploying IP version 6 briefly, but I really want to kind of show you some of the hands-on lab here that I promised I was going to show you guys together. I plan to do this in the class. We started this out last week for those who met online, but I'm going to focus a little bit more on that, today. We have some files that I give you guys. I call it hacked host traces. How many of you guys have these? If you don't have it, please let me know. I have provided these, this file for us a couple of weeks, before now in class. It's called host traces. It's a trace file for hacked host. And if you don't have it, let me know. I will make sure that, you get access to it, or just simply point you to the week that, we make these available. The link should be somewhere, on D2L, and you can pull this file down. I'm going to look at actually it's in week 7. For 108591, it should be in week 7. So you should see, I'll pull it up online now so you can see. So if you look online here, so if you see week 7, hacked host traces. This file right here, that's the file with, so pull it down. That's 108591, and 108590 should be somewhere around that as well. Week 7, yep, it's right over here. So feel free to go get it. And most of the work I'm going to be doing in the class today, we're going to be, really looking at, this particular file in question. There's a lot of other stuff that we want to do about this file, but I'm going to just simply start out by, walking you through them little by little, so that you will be able to kind of learn what I want you guys to learn, especially through this particular, file. Any questions so far? All right. So the first one that I really want you guys to go ahead and get hold of is look at the first file, active scan. Active scan. We're going to look at that. We're also going to look at the client dying. We're going to look at Markov. And we might even look at sick client. So again, we're going to look at the sick client. We're going to look at active client. There's a couple of other files also that we're going to look at in order for us to be able to quickly finish some of the stuff that we were looking at, touching on tonight. The goal of this is by the time we're done, you will be able to conduct a relatively simple, analysis. All right? Any question? Any question? All right. So the stuff that I want us to start with is, let's start with active client. Okay. I'm going to put a little note here so we have a little bit of a record. I have a notepad. There you go. So, active scan. Then number 2, we're going to look at, clients dying. I want us to look at, actually, I'll put Markov here at my number 2. Client dying at number 3. And then we'll see how much time we have after that. We'll get to the other, and these clients dying over here, it really is, it's a breached host that we will be, looking at as far as that one is, concerned. The other, trace file that we're going to be looking at subsequent to that, after that, that will be, I'll put this one as number 3. I call this one sick client. And this is a bot infected system. And this one is Mark attack in action. Okay, so let's without wasting much time, let's open this one up. So what I want you to do is pay a little attention to what I'm doing here, because I'll give you some time to go and do this on your own in the class. While we're online here, I'm going to give you some time to go and look at some of these files, and then we'll huddle back up together. Now, if you're not paying attention, what's going to happen is by the time I ask you to go and do your own part, you may not be able to do much. So as much as possible, try to pay extra attention over here. And if I do something you don't understand, please stop me. All right, so first file that we're looking at is the first file over here, active scan. Now, the purpose of this is to understand it's very simple system behavior. And I will use my paint to kind of scratch some things online now. There's what you call a 3-way handshake. If A wants to talk to host B, they have to do what we call a 3-way handshake. In other words, A have to send a packet to B, call SYN, and then B will respond back with a SYN ACK, right? And then A will respond back over here with an ACK. After this, then they can begin to talk. Now, one of the first things you would see before this happens, let me ask you a question. Does machine talk to each other using IP address or host name?
IP address.
They use IP address. But we don't supply IP address to machine. How does machine then get the IP address that they need?
It's the 3-way handshake.
Yeah, they use, actually the 3-way handshake happens once they get the IP address. Before, how do they get the IP address to do 3-way handshake? Because 3-way handshake,
it's your server.
What kind of server?
A DNS server.
DNS server, extremely important. Extremely important. Let me show you something real quick. Pay quick attention to what I'm about to do on the screen now. We're laying some fundamentals that is really going to make you a good network analyst. I am going to just do a simple capture. Okay, I'm going to say capture option here. Okay. I want to capture a packet here, you know, whatever it is that I have. Or let me just make this a little bit easier. I'm going to simply come over here, type my Wireshark. Where's my Wireshark here?
Talking to someone?
If
I'm just in
I,
class right now.
Lorenzo, please put your mic on and mute it. This session is being recorded, so if your voice is accidentally online, it will be there for like 2.5 months, right? So please put your mic, when you're using your mic, put it on mute so that if somebody accidentally talks, we don't have to interrupt the class. All right, thank you, sir. All right, so go to my capture now. Go to option. Only collect packets on your active network. See that? There's no need for you to be listening on this thing, this flat. So I'm just going to uncheck this one out. Okay, and I'll leave this one on. This is the only one that is active. I'm going to say start. And then I'm going to start out my internet. And I'm going to start going to Yahoo, for example. I'm going to go to CNN. I'm going to go to Century. And that should be enough. All right. I just wanted to prove something. And I'm going to stop my traffic collector now. I want to show you an example of a three-way handshake and what happens before a three-way handshake. To see a DNS traffic, I just have to type DNS over here. DNS, apply. DNS here. Why? Something strange is happening. How come we type DNS traffic over here and there's no DNS at all? Type HTTP. Let's see if you get something here. No HTTP traffic here. What's going on? Can somebody explain?
No, I really can't because it worked for me.
Anybody have an idea? There is a delay on my, network card. You understand what I'm saying? There's a complete delay on my network card, and it hasn't really started capturing anything by the time I terminated the recording. You can try it again. Here is it. I can tell this is still my most active network. It seems a little bit flat now, but I can dump everything in here. Go back here, type Yahoo, and I can type DNS here to even see. And the idea of typing my DNS over here is so I can see if I actually have, any traffic yet before I actually, kill it, right? I already have some traffic over here if I have issues with my DNS card. So there's no alarm, reason for alarm for that. I can let me type state.gov. I might need to restart my my network card, which I don't want to restart it because it will take me much time. Because you can see there's no DNS traffic here, which is what I really want to show you guys. But I have other traffic here that I can use to demonstrate, so I won't sweat that. But if you do that on your system, if you don't have the issue that I have here, restarting my system, you should have a clear traffic that is going back and forth. Something definitely is wrong with my card. but I won't restart my system because we just don't have the time to do that. So let me go back here and show you what I want to explain earlier. I've got some card here that I've collected in the previous class, Wednesday. Remember, there's still one of this class that we collected these, one of our Wednesday's class. I'm going to open it up. Let me see if I have a DNS traffic here. I'll show you something. All right, look at it. Can you see online now? Okay. Here's my DNS traffic. Pay attention over here because you're going to see this is how you establish a real foundational knowledge. Look at it. Here's DNS traffic. The packet is packet number 359. It's very important for you to know this because oftentimes we will refer back to this packet later. Okay? 359. Pay attention to this now. Here is this. And I'm going to open the source IP address and the destination IP address because I want you guys to pay attention to them. Look at the IP config here. IP config. My IP address is 10.128.0.61. Okay? Don't forget that. Let me bring up a bigger screen for you. IP config. So you can see my IP address is 10.128.0.61. I'm going to go to properties over here and select quick edit because I want to be able to select my IP address. See that? That's right, what I was doing when I do that. So this is my IP address, 061. So don't forget that. So when you're looking at this traffic, is my machine the sending or the destination on this one?
Sending.
It's a sending, absolutely. My machine is a sending. If you can take a look at the IP address here. It's very, very obvious. You can see 128.0.61, 128.0.61 at the top here. So here is my machine when I went to go and browse Google. My machine is here. And look at what it's saying at the bottom. DNS traffic. My machine, obviously, I had gone to my browser to type www.google.com. On that, once I type that, my machine is like, what is this? I don't understand this. Look at this. Then it sent a query. Here is the query itself. It said, what is the IP address for Google? It's querying a record. They call it record A. The record A stands for answer file. He's saying, what is the IP address of Google? Look at it. That is packet 359. In packet 361, there's an answer that came back. Okay? So look at the answer here. The DNS server responded back and said, Google, the website you're trying to look at, has a list of IP addresses, and they provided those IP addresses. You see that? And then after that, something normally will happen. Same thing happens for Century College, by the way, and so on and so forth. Now, pay attention to this packet number, 359.361, because we're going to come back to it, 361. And this is for Google. Okay? Pay attention to this now. Very important. Now, I am going to come over here, close this up. Now, you're looking at the entire packet. I'm going to show you and say, go to, look at this go to now. You see that? Go to, I'm going to ask you over here, see the whole, there's a box here, type 359, the number that we want to jump to. Now I'm looking at all the packets from the beginning here. There's no You know, this is not just one packet now. I'm looking at every packet from number one now without a filter. But now I know where I wanted to go. I said 359, I said go to that packet. You see now how it just took me right there. You see that? Can you see that? This is important when I give you a question because you're going to need to show me your steps. So now you go down over here. This is 359. This is my host here talking to a machine here. What is this machine? What machine is this?
That's your router.
And tell me, it's a router. How do you know it's a router?
The default gateway. The IP address is usually the default gateway for your, which is usually modem router combo.
Okay, a good idea, but I wanted to look here very well. So this is your frame, this is your Ethernet, this is your IP, this is your UDP protocol. You either look at the transport protocol or the UDP protocol to determine what is this IP address, this machine is. Oftentimes, when you look at the port number is a service port. It's what lets you know what is this machine that this host is talking to. 10.128.0.61 is talking to 10.128.0.1, and I'm saying, what is this? What is this machine? What kind of service is running on it? Then I'll go down. Follow me now. At the bottom over here, anytime after IP, you either have TCP or you have UDP. Those are the transport protocol that you have. They run at the transport layer. You either have UDP or you have TCP. Look at the port. What is the destination port?
53.
So what service is run on 53?
DNS.
DNS. So what is this machine?
DNS server.
In this case, it's operating as a DNS server.
It's a DNS server. You got it now? So if I ask you a question and say, well, what machine is this host talking to? You will say it's talking to a DNS server. How do you know? Because you can see it's talking to on port 3. So obviously, my machine is sending a DNS query, which totally makes sense, to a DNS server. What is this talking? He's saying, do you know the IP address of Google? You got it? So look at the answer that came back. This is the query here. This is the answer here. 361. And you can tell, look at the port again. See, the source port now is 53. It's talking to my machine. And look at the answer on the DNS over here. You see the queries and the answer. And they say, you're trying to go to google.com. Here is a list of IP address of Google that I know. You understand? And right after that, then normally something happens. What does my machine do?
It acknowledges.
And then what does it do?
It sends a message to that DNS, to that IP address that it received.
So what kind of message does it do?
A SYN message.
Exactly. So I was trying to show you this. Remember? Look at it. On 359, my machine sent a query to DNS server. So what is the IP address? This guy is asking me to go to Google. 361, the DNS server responded back with a list of IP address. Immediately, 362, my machine sent a SYN packet. You understand? Look at it. To the first IP address on the list. Because if you look at it, the first IP address on the list is 172.217.212.104. See? 212.104. You see that? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, somebody said, I like to talk to the money guy. And I'm like, well, that's a nickname. And somebody said, well, Barbara know everybody in the class. Just better talk to Barbara. He will tell you who is Money Man. And I go to Barbara and say, hey, who is Money Man here? And Barbara said, oh, yeah, that's Jamie. That's Jamie right there. Then I'm going to go and say, oh, can I talk to Jamie? You see what I'm saying? But I don't know, because the domain name is for human being. Google.com is for human being. Yahoo is for human being. Machines don't know that. So anytime you browse a domain name, your machine is going to ask Google, a DNS server, and say, DNS, do you know the IP address? Once the DNS server provides the IP address, as in this case now, you can see on 362, my machine attempted to talk to the first IP address on the list by sending a SYN packet. See, SYN here. And then that Google IP address, 212.104, reply back here. 212.104 with a SYN ARC. You see that? And then my machine, 128.0.61, reply back with a SYN, with an ARC. They completed a three-way handshake. After that, then look at it. They start saying hello, and so on and so forth. You see that? Everybody get that? That's exactly what happened. Your machine, first of all, talk to DNS. It will be very, very weird for you to see a machine do three-way handshake without first talking to the DNS server. Does that make any sense? Whenever you see that, oftentimes it's a sign of a rootkit or command and control. Because that means that this machine, the identity, the IP address of the machine was manually or programmatically provided to your machine. So it means that a human being does not initiate that connection. Does that make any sense? Because human being is not going to go to a website or to any domain name on the internet by typing IP address. Does that make any sense? Hello? All right. So anytime you see a machine talking directly to an IP address without first getting that IP address from a DNS server, you know that a human being does not initiate it. You understand what I'm saying? And then oftentimes when that happens, people start suspecting maybe this machine has been infected. Okay, so I just want to lay that foundation before jumping right into, analyzing this traffic. I'm going to close this one out. See, I have to do all of that. Otherwise, what I'm about to do here, you wouldn't appreciate it. It wouldn't make any sense to you. All right, let's go back to ActiveScan now. Type over here on your type of screen, SYN. So normally you could say, what is Israel driving at over here? I will show you here in a second. I'm going to just show you a couple of stuff. Look at this here. I'm going to show you quickly how to create a filter. Now I want to type SYN here. I'm looking for SYN packet, but when I type SYN over here, it's trying to say sync, and I don't want that. That's not what I want. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to build my own filter. I look for SYN here, browse down, look at it over here. At the bottom here, I see a flag SYN. I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to certify that. Look at that. And I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say prepare a filter, select it. You see that? TP flag is SYN equals 1. You see that? Everybody see that? You see how I build that? Okay. Now I can see all the traffic that have send packet. Okay? You see that? Any questions?
Yes. Nope.
Okay. So you can see I can see all the send, SYNAC, send, SYNAC, send, SYNAC, send, SYNAC, send, SYNAC, send. One thing I never saw. What is one thing that you think is missing here? Obviously.
The acknowledge packet afterwards.
Acknowledgement
Acknowledge,
packet. See, this is missing. See, that's why I spent a lot of time going through what is normal. Because if you don't know what is normal, it's impossible for you to know what is abnormal. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So if you see a man, flying in the parking lot without a parachute on his back, you're going to run and say you saw an alien. Wouldn't you say that? You would, right? You would say that. You wouldn't be smiling and giggling and drinking water. No, you would throw the water down, you will run. Because you would say, I saw a man flying. Because in your neighborhood, human beings don't fly. So if you saw one flying, it will freak you out. Right? Exactly. So in the same way over here, you look through this thing, somebody hand you this packet and say, hey, Barbara, take a look at this packet. What do you think is going on over here? You're like, okay, well, let me, at least. Are there a machine talking from this one? What does the forcing machine do? They talk to DNS, and then they try to do a three-way handshake. Let me see what's going on over here. And then I look at SYN. I expect to see SYNAC, whatever. Well, maybe there are. Maybe I just wasn't seeing it. Because with the traffic here, I wouldn't know. But then I can build more. Take a look at this. I can come back here. Watch what I'm doing now because you're going to need it. You really are going to need it. Here is my arc here. Okay? And this time around, I'm going to build something here. And I'm going to say prepare. And I'm going to say or. See that? But then I'm going to come and edit it a little bit. I'm going to change the 0 to 1. You understand? You see how I didn't have to be an expert in Wireshark, build me an interesting traffic. You understand what I'm saying? So if you look at all this, you'll be like, wow, how long does it take you to know how to build this thing? I'm going to be like, it didn't take me anything. I'm just using Wireshark to build the traffic, the filter, to build what I want. So now what I'm looking at is any traffic with a SYN packet or any traffic with an ACK packet. Now I'm seeing more packet now. I see SYN, I see SYNAC, and I see ACK. You see that now? You see what I'm saying? Because I had broadened the scope just a little bit. And I can see this guy doing SYN, SYNAC, ACK. SYN, SYNAC, ACK. You see that? And every time a machine break, communication is terminated, they have to do three-way handshake all over again. You understand what I'm saying? They have to do it all over again. And when two machines, take a look at this. We are establishing some fundamental. If you don't get this, this is perhaps one of the most important part of the class because I'm trying to establish for you what is normal. This is what you call graceful termination. When two machines are done talking, right? You don't call your friend and when you finish talking, you just hung up on your friend because you finished your thought. Do you do that? No, you don't do that, right? You would just say, oh, okay, all right, see you later, man. I gotta go. You're trying to say, I want to cut. And you're going to say, all right, see you later, we'll talk later, and then you disconnect the phone. You don't just finish your thought and just hung up the phone. And say, well, I thought I was done talking. I didn't know you mind if I hung up the phone, right? You don't do that. Look at this now. This is how they call it graceful termination. One machine, look here, 1.101, look up on the screen here for a second, okay? 1.101 is sending to his friend 103 a fin acknowledgement. Finish means fin is for finish, which means this guy must have sent a fin packet to 101, and 101 returned back with a fin ACK. And then 103 also sent a fin packet, and then the other guy returned with a fin ACK. That is how two machines gracefully end a conversation. You understand? You got it? Okay, so that is that. The last thing I want to show you is what does a disgraceful exit look like? Now look at this. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to look for reset. Reset. See that over here? And I'm going to build a reset filter, and I'm going to say prepare a filter, and I'm going to say or, and I'm going to change this one to 1. And now, hey, look at it. A reset packet generally occurs when a machine sends a SYN packet to a machine on a port that is not open. For example, if you try to browse a machine that is not a web server, if you send a SYN packet to a machine on port 80 and the machine is not a web server, well, the machine will respond back with an RST, reset. Reset is like, just leave me alone. You understand what I'm saying? So if you know, somebody call you and you're like, I don't know you just kind of disconnect the line. Reset is a kind of it is the opposite of graceful termination of a traffic. So make any sense? So when your machine is getting scanned, when the bad guys see a machine online, and they're trying to see what kind of machine is this machine? What are they going to be doing? They're going to be sending SYN packet to every port on that machine, isn't it? Because they're trying to see which port on this machine is going to respond with a SYN ACK. You got it? They're trying to figure out, well, what kind of server? Is it a web server? Is it an FTP server? Is it a mail server? So they're just going to be sending a SYN packet. For example, look at this guy now. This guy now, I'm going to show you something really quick now. Let me see if I can bring this up. Okay, look at this. This packet over here is SYN packet. 101 is sending a SYN packet to 103 on port 445. What is on port 445?
HTTPS.
HTTPS. If you don't know that, you can just simply go there and say port 445. And it will tell you what's port 445. And it will tell you what exactly it is. What about 443?
Oh, sorry, 443 is HTTPS.
Exactly.
445, I don't know.
Do you understand? If it's a web server, you're going to see it often on port 80 or port 443. You understand? You don't have to know this thing often. You should be able to go back up here and just kind of search what it is. And you'll see it real quick. So I see this guy now sending in a SYN packet to this thing on port 445. It's a machine box. And on port 445, for the most part, if you go back over here, almost, most machines are open on those ports. Your 445 is where you have your SMB over IP. That's the server's message box. When you share a folder, you're using this protocol, SMB protocol. And look at this guy it is possible that this guy have a share folder and is trying to access a share folder. Look at it. Send a SYN packet on 445 because this machine is open, has a port open on that port. This guy responded back from 445. If it's not open, you will have a problem. Look at this guy. What do you think is happening? What do you think is happening over here? 34. What happened is 101 must have sent a SYN packet to 103 on port 139.
Oh,
But
yeah.
103 is not open on port 139. Therefore, 103 sent a reset packet back. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what you're seeing over here. Now, I'm going to close all these up now, and I want to show you something that might interest you. When I'm looking for scanning, okay, somebody's saying, check us, you know, do you think we're having a problem on this network? And anybody trying to scan us? What is it that I'm going to be looking for? If I'm looking for somebody scanning on my network, somebody scanning host on my network, what will I be looking for?
Probably a lot of ping packets, yeah?
Ping packet, but ping packet will help me to know if a host is up or not.
A lot of resets?
Right? So, a reset packet, exactly.
Sorry,
you move to the top of the class, Barbara. You understand what I'm saying? It's a reset packet. A ping packet is a good point you mentioned, Jimmy. A ping packet will help me to know if a host is up or not. So
yeah,
now,
sorry, I misunderstood the question.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, that's good. So look at the reset over here. I'm going to say prepare a packet, select, right? And I can look for this. Look at that. You see how I can, see, once you know what you're looking for, you can easily use Wireshark to quickly just get it like that. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm taking some time to lay some fundamentals here so that we're all on the same page. Once I set this up, the rest is become very easy. So look at this now. I have a bunch of reset packet. Now, you take a look at this. Who is the bad guy here? 103 or 101? Who is the suspected bad guy here? 103 or 101?
I think the source is 103.
So you think that the 103 is the bad guy?
I guess.
No, but it's good to guess. I wanted to guess. I wanted to guess. So
I like Sean's idea.
So Sean says 101 is a bad guy. I tend to agree. Let me explain. Let's just not take Sean's word for it. So let's say, you know, you are not in the room. You are in the next door. You're just listening on what's going on. All of a sudden you heard Jimmy say, leave me alone. And then like 2 seconds later, you heard Barbara say, leave me alone. You heard Alan say, leave me alone. Like 7 people say, leave me alone. Well, you're going to say, who is it that's bothering everybody in that classroom that nobody wants to talk to, and yet he's bugging them? You understand what I'm saying? Do you see that, Liban?
Yes.
So these guys are sending, 103 is the one that's saying, leave me alone. Is the one saying RST packet. Any machine that's saying RST packet is like, it means leave me alone, I don't want to talk. It is RST that is trying to cut off a communication. That means somebody's trying to talk to it. And if you look at it, is consistently to 101. But watch out for this. Go down underneath here and see a little bit more information. First packet at the top here. Where is this coming from? On what port?
Coming from 139.
139. And then, see, what port?
21.
21. What port?
22.
What port?
23.
What port?
25.
What does that look like to you?
Looks like this guy's just going through the list of ports until he finds what he's looking for.
So in,
Like
in
just
the
in order,
our
numerically.
word, yeah. So in our word, what do they call that? Port scanning.
Oh, okay.
You understand? So if I give you this kind of a traffic, and I said, "Hey guys, you were the network, forensic analyst, and you were handed this, trace file to analyze. What do you think is going on?" Then these are the kind of checkboxes you will check. And when I look at this and I see a lot of this, I'm going to say 101 is doing port scanning against this host. And why do you do port scanning? You're trying to see what service is running on the host. You're trying to figure out, is it an FTP server? Is it a web server? Is it a mail server? Is this whatever? You understand what I'm saying? The objective of a port scanning is to determine what kind of service. Then once you know the service, if you're really trying to get into the machine, then you're going to figure out what are the known vulnerability for this service. And let me find out if this machine is well patched against those vulnerabilities. Does that make any sense?
Yep.
Any question? And you can go all through the list. So the bad guy here is 101. It's a scanner. It's conducting port scanning against these hosts. And it's just all sorts of port that he's doing against. You understand? The most important thing, guys, that you need to kind of focus on is the fundamental. Teach me what is normal, and in no time, you will find out that you quickly get up to speed and you're able to analyze some of this traffic that may otherwise look very complex. They are not that much complex. Once you know what is normal, you can take care of it. Any questions?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
My question is that the reset packet is used like to terminate an open connection or to reject the establishment of a connection?
Reset packet is to tear down a connection.
To tear down an already established connection?
Or an intended connection.
Oh, okay. So before the three-way handshake happens, the reset comes first.
No. The three-way handshake is a way to communicate, right?
To establish the connection, yes.
Yeah, to establish a conversation.
All right.
Like you already have a connection. If there's no connection, you can't even send a reset packet to a machine that doesn't exist, right?
All right. So first the three-way handshake is established, and then the reset happens.
It doesn't happen if the machines are talking. Resets only happen when you are breaking down a connection.
So what triggers that breakdown?
Exactly what I explained earlier. If you're trying to have a conversation with a machine that is not open on that particular port.
So any machine that's not using HTTP or HTTPS?
No. Any machine that is not open on a given port. It doesn't matter whether it's HTTPS or no HTTPS.
All right, so that means these services the supposed hacker is trying to scan are closed.
Yeah, it means that they are closed. It means that those ports, right? Ports, not services now. It means that those ports are closed.
Okay. I
You
understand.
understand?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, for example, on your machine here now, you can actually go over here and find out what open ports do you have here, right? You can do that. I can come back over here and do,
Was the next step?
I can do next start
Yep.
dash NAO and find out all the open ports on my system. It's very easy.
Okay, so
All these
if like
open ports on my system here, these ports are open on my system. These ports are open. And if somebody try to send me a SYN packet on this port, all things being equal, you will get a SYNAC back.
okay.
You will not get a SYNAC back if you try to send me a SYN packet on port 80. This is not a web server. Port 80 is not open. You're going to get a reset packet back.
Okay, so my other question is if let's say port 25 is for the SMTP for the mail server, if that is closed, so what does that mean?
It means that port is closed. It means you don't have that port open.
I mean, like, can other people access it? Like, how does that work?
You can access it if it's closed.
Okay.
Yeah. You cannot access a closed port.
I mean, if you're a company, you need the mail server to be running, to be up and running, right?
And in that case, you will have port 25 open on your designated mail server or whatever port you use for your mail, services. But obviously, not every machine is going to be your mail server.
Okay.
Would it?
No.
So it's easy. So if you scan port 25 on a machine that is near a mail server, that port expectedly should be closed, and you will get a reset packet back, won't you?
Yes.
Yes, you would. So exactly. So it's like that for every scenario. For a machine to have any kind of services, that services must be on a given port, and that port must be open for it to communicate, right? Data has to go in and out, and those data goes through a particular designated port.
Oh, all right. I understand it. So every service is kind of corresponding to an IP address, right? So the IP address that you're sending the scanning to should be the mail server if you're looking for a mail server, right?
No, no. IP address is just for the host. That's all. That's all an IP address is for.
Okay.
It's just for a host. It does not have anything to do with a port. Port has everything to do with what services you're running on a machine.
Okay, that's good.
You can have a machine that is, you have a laptop right there.
Okay.
Are you running any service on your laptop? Probably not.
Okay.
So you won't have any port open that is not necessary. You won't have port 80 open. You won't have port 22 open because you're not running those services. But you have an IP address. You need an IP address to be able to. That's your identity, more or less.
Okay.
That is to connect to that particular host on the network. But that has nothing to do with what port is open or not.
All right.
That's the difference between sending a ping packet and sending a SYN packet. When you send a ping packet, you're trying to see if the host is up or not. When you're trying to send a SYN packet, you're trying to see what services, a particular host is running.
Got it.
Two different things entirely.
Okay.
So when somebody is doing port scanning, it's not trying to figure out whether you're up or not. He already know that. He's just trying to see what services is running on this particular port. He's trying to see what port is open.
So
port scanning is just to determine what port is open.
Okay, is there a particular command that you can run to see if those ports are open?
I think that's what he just showed you.
What do you mean? We just send a SYN packet. You
No,
just said
no,
the send packet.
no. I mean, if there are like a list of commands that you can run to see if there are ports open or closed on a specific destination.
No, you send a send packet.
So just the SIM packet will let you know how many ports are open or closed.
Because the one that is open will respond back, like the packet, like the traffic we just looked at earlier, right?
Okay.
What is this guy trying to do? He's trying to see what port is open on a remote machine.
Sure.
Right?
So you just follow
saying,
the ACK response and the reset responses. Through that, you will know which ports are open and which ports are not.
Potentially, all things being equal.
Okay.
You know, I'm giving you a very simple answer, but it's a lot more complex than that.
Sure.
Because you can have a port that is open and you can still get a reset packet if there's a firewall in front of it.
Okay.
Liban, thank you for asking those questions. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I learned a lot through those.
Okay.
But ultimately, the key is, you need to know, the key is the port is used for service. IP is for your host. If I want to find out whether a machine is up or not, I'm going to ping the IP address. And all things being equal, if there's no firewall, you will get a reply back. To determine whether a port is open, you're going to have to scan the port. You can scan the port using SANE packet for TCP. There are other means by which you can scan other ports that are not TCP-based ports.
Okay.
You know, but basically right now, that's what I wanted to know. Now, if port 80 is open, I can then go further to find out what kind of service is running on port 80. That's even a little bit more deeper than this.
Okay.
But anytime you see somebody scanning port, it's not to find out whether the port is open or not. It's often to find out whether the port, to find out whether the port is open. And then if the answer is yes, then the person might go further to say what kind of service is running on this.
Okay.
So, and if you want to find out what port is open on your machine, just type netstat-nao, you'll see. Look at my machine now. Port 3389 is open. What port is that? That's my RDP port. 3389 is RDP. You got it? 3389.
Yep.
3389 is RDP. Why is he open? Because look at this machine. I'm RDPing into it right now.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Hello?
Yes, true.
Yeah. So if this port is not open, I couldn't RDP into this machine. All right. So good questions right there, because these questions you need to ask them. If you don't understand, don't be shy. You're not helping yourself, right? You know, it's like you're wasting your tuition if you don't understand and you're like, oh, I don't want to tie down everybody. No, you better ask your question, because this might be the only opportunity you have to ask, and continue to ask questions until you are satisfied. If you're not satisfied, don't just say, I'll just leave it alone. Make sure you ask and you get an answer you want. Because we're laying the foundation now. And if your foundation is crooked because you're shy, you're going to have tons of problems down the road. These are fundamental steps that we're laying out. You need to understand these like very, very, very well. And then from there, you should be good to go. So you can see what an active scan looks like now. This is what you call an active scan, and that's why we label that particular packet active scan. Now, if I give you this packet and I rename it for the final, you have to be able to analyze this packet and figure out what is going on there. I'm not going to give it and call it active scan. You better know what it is. The only way you're going to know is to analyze the traffic. Okay? Now, let's look at a 6 client, for example. And then I'm going to give you some time for you guys to go ahead and take a shot as well at these. there's a couple of stuff that you could easily, quickly find out. You know, start with the simple ones. Start with the fundamentals, and then go on from there. You know, I know one of the first things that normally happen when a machine is reaching out to another host is DNS. So I can go back here and just say, I'd like to see my DNS traffic here. Go to apply. Ah, look what I found. So this machine, packet number 1, I've told you, don't forget the packet number, because filter is just showing me this. When I X out, I'm going to have to start all over again. So you need to know how to jump to your packet by writing your packet number. What do I have over here? Packet number 1. Yes?
That's a DNS standard.
Correct. So I can see this machine, 2211.13, reaching out to, what kind of machine is this 56.6?
That's going to be a DNS server.
It's going to be a DNS. You can see it right there. This is my destination. You can see here, what's the destination port? 53. So this machine is a DNS server. And you can see it over here too. So this 2211.13 is sending a query to DNS server. What is the query? Click it over here. You can see it's saying, what is the IP address of bjj.househeart.com? You see that?
Yes.
Okay. So then, let's see if you get an answer back. Say this query, this is query response. You got an answer back. And you can see, here is the query, and here is the answers. And it got a ton of IP address. There's a canonical name for bjj.house. So look at this, it got a ton of IP address. Weird stuff. Normally, unless you are kind of like a Yahoo, where they're doing a lot of load balancing and high availability and you know, user experience and so on and so forth, this is kind of weird stuff. Very, very weird. Very, very weird.
What is the destination unreachable stuff? The pings?
Huh?
What's weird specifically? The
because
repeatedly
you see a lot of IP address. So you see one domain name that's mapped to several IP address.
okay.
Now, if it's a Yahoo, and even Yahoo that we saw earlier on, imagine how much people are looking at Yahoo. Even Yahoo, we don't have something this many, right? I can come over here when we went to Google earlier on, type DNS over here. This is how I learned, you know, network traffic. I started looking at normal traffic, even from my own house. Look at the Google. See that over here? This is a query. This is a response of Google. Look at the name. Look at the answers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can imagine how much Google is all over the world.
And then they're all roughly the same, similar IP addresses on the same network,
and it's only
roughly.
and it's only 6. Now look at this one that I gave you guys here. See how many it's got? That's a boatload. Mapped to some, you know, some weird name, bjj.househeart.com. You're not gonna put your credit card on this kind of website, would you?
I'll use Jamie's.
No, not anything that starts with BBJJ, Househeart. Somebody's gonna be like, were you sleeping when you put your credit card on it? You saw this thing, you didn't take a hike. Right? And look at it, it's got a lot of IP address. That by itself is kind of a little bit of a flag red, because we're kind of like, this doesn't look normal. it doesn't look normal to us. So we kind of like, you know, a little bit, you know, suspicious because we saw some stuff that we kind of don't like as much. You know, so that's part of the thing that you look at. They are very, very common stuff. And always, when you look at DNS, always know what to expect. You know, whenever you see a query, look for the answer. Query is for the client, answer is from the DNS server. And when you look at the answer, you will always see here, you will always see the question still attached. Say it's getting you 12 answers. That's a lot. That's a lot. You understand? So that's one of the things that, you know, when you look at here, it jumps right at you and you're beginning to say, what is the problem with this thing? All right, so that is that one. Now, what do you think is going to happen now? I want to see if you've been following us from the previous one. What do you expect for the machine to do, having gotten a list of this IP address on the DNS server?
It's going to check every IP until it receives acknowledgement.
It is going to try to send a send packet, correct. It's going to try to send a send packet to the first one, isn't it? That's what, that is the normal pattern. It's going to try and send a send packet to the normal for the first one. And what? Look at it. What did you do? 216.234.235.165. Isn't it this one? What did you try to do? Send a send packet. That's the normal stuff. See, that's how you get so good at this thing. You do a little bit of this, all of a sudden you know what to look for. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you are now getting yourself so familiar with the normal stuff. You know the first thing that should happen. You know what you followed after. And if that doesn't follow, then you begin to wonder and say what's going on and begin to kind of see a whole lot of, you know, other stuff. Okay? This is very important for us as we kind of look at that, you know, because you know, so send a send packet over here. We didn't hear much of anything. Get a little bit of this one here. See that one went to send a send packet over here. Send it to the destination power source part over here. Go on and follow. Retransmit the send packet. Retransmit the send packet over here, right? And look at this one over here. And this same machine come over here. Let's see. Send a query to not BJJ now, but to wallowloan.com. And they got a response back, and they sent him a list of all these IP address, and they sent a send packet to the first IP address on the list. You see that? And then they got a send ACK from that machine, and they got the ACK back. You understand?
So why didn't it send back a reset acknowledgement versus a unreachable port?
Because this machine is open on port 18067.
No, what I was referring to was the IP address 216.234.235.165. How come it didn't send back?
Remember, you got it from here. 61189.243.240 from the response you got from the DNS server.
No, I was referring back to the bbjj.househot.com. I was just questioning why it did not send back a reset acknowledgement versus a destination unreachable port. Why did it send that?
A very good question there. from a
That's
very
an
observant
ICMB.
I know what he's asking. Yeah,
Oh.
I know what he's asking. So he's saying, why didn't we get anything back? This guy sent a SYN packet and didn't get anything back. How come? Now, there are possibilities why that could happen. You could be talking to a machine that is behind a firewall.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And you can send a SYN packet and it just doesn't respond back to you. It's going to be looking at you. You understand? Because sometimes by responding back, you learn more about the person on the other side. For example, if I just want to be messing with somebody want to mess with you, they don't know who is inside the house, and they come knocking the door, right? And somebody says, "Who is there?" Well, I can tell if it's a girl, if it's a boy or girl, isn't it?
Yep.
Right.
Right. So if you never answer the door, well, I'm going to be a little it doesn't mean nobody's home. Maybe they're watching me through the through the keyhole or something, because they won't talk. I can tell if it's an old man or young man or old woman or young woman by the voice. But if they never answer, I keep my identity a little bit more. And sometimes machine behind the firewall behave like that. But this guy went on. Have I answered your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So then he went on and do the same thing for this other one for the canonical name. He got a list of IP address. He sent a SYN to that. Got a SYN ARC. Get an ARC over here. You can actually right-click that ARC over here and say follow TCP string. And follow TCP string will let you see certain information that you may not be able to see otherwise. It's going to let you see the entire conversation. And this is kind of very tiny. I don't know why it's like that, but I have no idea why it's like that. You can see user, and then you have the name. So whatever is in red, that is a client. So what I'm saying? Everything in red is a client. Anything in blue is a server response. You can see that guy over here, saying, hey, my user is 111, blah, blah. And then he picks the nickname over here. And you can see the user host. And then you can see joining pounds, PH look like a channel. You understand? I don't know whether this thing is still available now, but we're back. During, there used to be something called Yahoo Messenger. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You forgotten what Yahoo Messenger was?
Unfortunately.
I used to use that back in the day.
Well, I was good. Barbara, you know what Yahoo Messenger is? You don't know? Oh, okay. I was going to give everybody 10 points.
Yeah, I wasn't that tech savvy back then.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while. Sorry, you're not, most people are not, into Yahoo Messenger. You have to be kind of like, it's been a while they shut it down, a long time. But back then, Yahoo Messenger, and Yahoo still dominates the search engine in those days. They used to have a Yahoo Messenger, and in Yahoo Messenger there are all kinds of channels, and you can join this channel, get out and join another channel, get out and join that, all kind of stuff. And this kind of like that you're looking at over here. And this is kind of like the channel that is joined over here, which is very typical of bot network. You understand what I'm saying? Very, very, very common for a bot network. And you could begin to kind of look at what is it that is going on here, especially if you are kind of like, wondering and say, what is it that this guy is doing over here? This keys here, we don't know what it is, but he's probably doing something here. You can close this one, right? I'm going to come back over here again. But one of the things you see after the three-way handshake is there's a couple of, activity that happened. You send some keys. We don't know what that does, but shortly afterwards, you can see this guy going to hometown.aol, and then there's a list of IP address that is sent back to it. Then started having some communication. You can kind of quickly see a lot of SYN packet that was sent out. He's saying, destination unreachable, port unreachable, right? This is kind of very, very common for when you are accessing either a machine behind a firewall, right? That is saying, hey, you can't reach that port. And this kind of like ICMP, saying destination unreachable, port unreachable. You understand? It's not saying host unreachable. If you were to say host unreachable, it could mean that that host is down, right? But it's saying it is port that is not reachable, which means something is blocking you from accessing that port. If you kind of take a look at what you have over here. Then after that, you have a bunch of, SYN packet that follows it. So you have a bunch of destination port unreachable, destination port unreachable, and it's going to, this 20, 11, 13, going to all kinds of IP addresses. You can see that. See the host. So earlier on, we talked about port scanning, isn't it? What is this? This looks more like host scanning. You see that? You understand?
Yep.
Because it's just going through the list, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 20, whatever. You see that? You see the difference between port scanning, host scanning? You understand what I'm saying? This is just kind of scanning the host and figuring out, what's going on. And any machine that is kind of protected, like 10.102 here, you just say, hey, behind the firewall, I won't talk. And you have this kind of stuff going on, and it's pinging, Joe. Suddenly it's just pinging, trying to find out, what is it that might be missing, between these entities, as you can kind of just take a look at it. You can go back and look. Go ahead.
My question is, when you're trying to scan the hosts, wouldn't the protocol all be ICMP? Why is it still showing TCP? If you are particularly scanning hosts.
I know you can scan. You see, there are more than one way of scanning hosts, right? And when you're looking at over here, I wouldn't call this a typical host scanning. It's talking to just one domain name here. It's not scanning host here, because you don't see multiple different kind of hosts. It's two machines that are talking over here, all through this place. So this is not really host scanning. You understand?
Yes.
So the host scanning aspect of it, there are ways you could kind of just, this is host scanning. This is mostly host scanning. You can see a lot of just SYN packet that's going out. And for the most part, just kind of looking at what it is. And you can always follow the string, follow TCP string to see what it is, what particular channel. And you can actually begin to look for what might otherwise be some signature that may let you know that somebody, in this case, is actually scanning your host, or somebody in this kind of cases, something fishy is going on. Now, I'm going to give you, looking at the time now, it's 8:01. I'm going to give you, let's see what we have here. I'll give you, let's quickly go through. I wanted to open Active Scan. On your machine, and then tell me how many ports are open on the host machine that is being port scanned. I give you 10 minutes to do that. So let's take 10 minutes off. That's what I wanted to do. Tell me how many ports are open on the machine that is being, port scanned. That is in active, scan. How many, ports are open on it? 10 minutes. It's exactly 8:02. By 8:12, we're going to get back. We'll do the revision, and then we'll call it tonight. All right, let's get started. I'm going to resume the recording again. All right, so let's quickly do this together. Active scan, want to figure out how many ports are open. And I've told you guys it's very easy. Anytime you have to deal with ports, let me quickly teach some fundamentals here. And for the next probably couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to be dealing more with fundamentals so that you can do analysis. Analysis is easy once you know fundamentals, because fundamentals allows you to know what is right or what is not right. And even if you forget it, somebody remind you, you connect very quickly. All right, so look at this one over here. If I'm looking for a port, or flag, I need to be looking at TCP or UDP. Okay, no need to be wasting my time on stuff like this, because I'm looking for, port, and I'm looking for flags. Look at over here. For anything that is open, what am I looking for? What kind of flag should I be searching for an open port?
Either acknowledge or FIN flags.
It's a SYN flag.
So I'm going to be looking for SYN ACK. Okay? I'm going to be looking for SYN ACK. All right? So earlier on, I showed you guys, something like flags here, and we look for, RST, we say prepare, where, reset flag is open. We'll find a bunch of these, right? And I'll walk you guys through some really quick stuff. And note that the first RST we have here is 34. Don't forget, we have 34, we have 163. I'm going to remove these so I can jump right there. So go to packet, 34. Just go over there. Here is my reset packet over here. From there, I've got 163. Go to packet 163, and then from then forward, we have quite a bunch of those stuff. But let's look at this. So you have on 162, a SYN packet was sent, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And then we get 103 just said send a reset packet back. I'm going to try and condense this one so I can look for something like this. I got a reset packet here. Again, this guy sent another, SYN packet here. On this side, got a reset packet back. SYN packet, reset ACK. SYN packet, reset ACK. SYN packet, reset ACK. That's what I got almost through. Every time a SYN packet is sent, that means that port is blocked. That port is blocked. But then when I get over some things over here, I get SYN ACK. So I'm saying which port are open on 1.101, isn't it? Right?
Right.
Hello?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then this is easy provided you know how to leverage Wireshark to build, filter, or, query. So I come over here. What is my target host? 101, right? So I'm
Right.
going to come over here and I'm going to go to under IP, Internet Protocol, and I'm going to select the host. Here's the guy that I want to select, isn't it? Isn't it? So I'm going to right click it and I'm going to say prepare filter and I'm going to say select. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now, I can say destination here, but really that's not what I want. I want, because if I say destination here, I'm going to miss the other half of the equation. But now I edited and I said IP address, which means I want to track this, whether it is going to this IP address or it's coming from this IP address. Isn't it?
Mhm.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
If that is what I want. But I really, really, really don't want to do this either. What I want is, I want to find out whenever something is open on port on this host of 1.101, then I'm going to actually say this guy has to be the source. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Let me go back and review this one again, because I want to make sure that I'm doing this right. Come over here. Prepare filter. Come on. Prepare filter. Okay, I'm just gonna select this again. Make sure I get this
Yeah,
one.
that usually will.
Prepare filter. There you go. Yay. Right? Then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna go to TCP, because now I want a flag. And the thing that I'm really, really care about is I'm looking for when I have a SYNAC.
SYNAC.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Because the SYNAC is what you're going to get when the port is open. So then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to come to this flag and I can say prepare and selected. That's what I'm saying. You see that?
Yes.
I want when the IP source, when the source is this, and the TCP flag is 12, which means this guy is open. Now you can look at this and say, we'll find nothing. You can say, well, that's weird. Don't worry. Narrow your, there's a lot of things we can do over here. You can come over here and say, let me listen to both sides of this. Am I missing anything on any side here? Freshen it up. Look at this. I have a situation when 103 responded back with a SYNAC, which means there are times when this thing is open. There are times when port is open on there, but there was never any time when there was an open port on 101.
Oh. Okay.
See what I'm saying?
And you checked for 101 that when you did that first, when you created that first
Filter.
Yeah, let's do this all over again. Let's do it all over again. It's easy. Yeah, I mean it's easy, right? You want to do this over and over again until this becomes so much like easy for you.
Second nature. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that you can think about it. You can just think it. You know, so I can go over here and say, I'm looking for my flags now, right? And RST over here. You can either set it over here, build a filter off of this one, or you can build a filter off of this. It's the same thing.
Huh?
I can build my filter off of this or off of this.
Okay.
This is a summation of what you have here.
What about all the other stuff underneath it, like congestion window and all that kind of stuff?
This is just finished.
All of them are not set. They're
This is
zero.
for sin. They are all.
Oh, they're set to 0. Yeah.
Because they are not active.
Yeah. Thanks, Levi.
Thank you.
That means only reset flag is set active.
Right.
So if I come over here and I do something over here, prepare filter, and I select this, and I got this. One second over here. I'm gonna go back here. 1 second here. What am I doing over here? Prepare filters like this. There you go. Okay. I have all of these. So it is 101 that is scanning. 101 is a bad guy. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
We established earlier that 101 is a bad guy. Right?
Right.
So your job will be to find out what on 103 is open.
Okay.
Right? So then I will come over here on my here, minimize this, brought this open, and I will say 103, you know, selected, right? And I would then come over here and I can actually modify these. I'll show you this one how to do it now. I'm looking for Synapse. So I'll say when this guy is my source, why not having a so put my filter here, select, and is 101 that I'm in, 103, that's what I'm interested in. Let's change this one, see that? Okay, then I'm also interested in when I have a synapse. This is just sin, but that's not a problem. I can always build whatever it is that I want out of any of these options. This is what I want when I have a synapse. Because this has a value of 4. This has a value of 8. That's why we have 12 here.
Say that again.
So these, because I'll show you, let me see if I can show you something here. Calculator. I'm just showing you guys the meaning of the stuff that you're looking at. Let me see if I can do it on a calculator.
Or when you translate the binary into hex. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, 1 second here. I'm trying to even find out where my calculator disappeared into from other screen. Okay. So when I come over here, so you have 12 here, and in decimal, actually no, come over here.
In hex, yeah.
In decimal is 18. You understand? And what happened is, I want to show you how
is
this
that
calculation
in hex?
came to be. Yeah, that's an X. You know, 12
is there
in
a
X.
Is there a 12 in hex? I thought that would be.
It's 12. 12 in X is 18 in decimal. I just want to show you how they arrive at that calculation, so you could see for yourself.
No, what I mean is the number is stop at 9 in the hex. So
Look at it. This
10
is it.
is 1.
It's X. It's 12X. This is number. This is what I'm dealing with. Okay.
I'm saying the
So,
value 12 shouldn't be written like that if it's hex, isn't it? Because
listen at what?
What is that?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Oh, I'm talking about if the 12 is hex, then the hex number is from 0 to 9, and then 10
And then
is
the letters?
X, E. Yep, that's what I'm saying.
No, yeah, you can have 12 in X.
Can you?
Yeah, of course. It just doesn't equal to 12 in decimal.
10 is 16, and then start again from there.
12 in X is 18 in decimal.
But it shouldn't be written like that, is what I'm trying to say.
It should.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, this is just, you can have.
Yeah, no, I
0,
see what you're saying.
1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 9.
And then ABC, right?
And then,
No. Once you have it over here, right, you go all the way down to A, B. You know what? Let me put a nail something over here so you could see.
Okay.
So this is A. This is 1 or 0, 1, 2, all the way down to 9. Then you have A, you have B, you have C, you have D, you have E,
and F.
You have F, right?
Yep.
And then now you have what do you have here now?
So instead of 12, you should have C, is what I'm saying.
No, it's not. So once you exhaust this point here, the next thing you have over here is 1, 0.
What?
After F, you have 1, 0. Then you have 1, 1. Then you have 1, 2. Then you have 1, 3. Then you have You have 1, 9.
I think I understand.
Then you have
because it's not 12. It's
you have 1A.
It's not 12. It's 1 and 2 because this is an 8-bit. So each 4 represents its one value of hex, right?
So let me just clear up. In decimal, you count all the way to F. So this is from 0 here. When you get to this place, this is 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. What do you have after this? 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, all the way down to 1, 9. And then you have what? What do you have? You have 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F. Once you get to 1F, what do you have? 2, 0. 2, 0. Then 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, whatever, and so on until you get to 2F. Once you get to 2F, then you go to 3, 0.
Right.
That's how you count in decimal.
I understand.
So 12 can exist in decimal. It just doesn't mean the same thing as in. So when you're looking at stuff over here, this 12 means 18 in decimal.
Now I understand because the bits are 8, right? So to represent that in hex, you have to divide it into 4 and 4 bits. Right?
So let me clear this up for you guys. So this one you're looking at over here, when you add this up, this has a value of 4. This is 2. This is 4. This is 8, and so on and so forth. So this is 4 here that you're looking at over here.
No,
you understand what I'm saying?
That's gonna be 2.
So that's why all of these together, when you add it up together, you have 18. Because this is this number increases as it goes on. So if I have, 0, or if I have a sin arc, right? It's easy for me to calculate. The sin arc is going to give me, 18 in decimal. And you can always convert it back to 12. But don't worry about that right now. I don't want to add another layer of complexity to that for now. You can just build your CNR, filter. Then I will just say prepare filter, and I will say end selected here, and I will come over here and do this. And you can see right now, I can tell you how many ports are open to answer the question that I gave you guys earlier. When I said how many ports are open, then this is a very simple question from this scenario, because I can come back here and just answer that, right? What port is open? Port 139 is open. Port 445 is open. Same 445, 445, same thing. 135, 139, 3 ports are open. 135, 139, 445. That's the answer. You got it? Hello?
Yeah, I got it.
Makes sense.
That's it. So expect this kind of question. We're going to do some more of this. Practice with this during your break, during your time. It's already 8:32. I'm going to let you guys go at this point. I'm going to put up this video online just in another couple of minutes from now, and then we can go from there.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. So most likely, like I've said to you guys, almost all our meeting in December is going to be online because I want to be able to record our session online for those of you who want to go over it again. And our session maybe next week, maybe online as well. The reason is because some of what we're going to be doing now, I want to be able to put them on video for those who will need to go over them, because some of them are going to be in the final. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
The challenge is if I do it live in class, you hear it one time, and if you forget it, there's no way for you to go back and rewatch, the content again. If I do it remotely online like this, then I have the means to record it and then spin off the video online, and then you can go back and watch it over and over and over again. All right. Again, I'm gonna go now and open up the Dropbox, and then open up the Dropbox and then keep it open till Tuesday. And Jamie, I have a feedback for you. You did. I'll give you feedback one-on-one later, okay? Concerning your question, I've gone back and looked at your submission. So just want to give you some feedback, but I'll give it to you one-on-one.
All right. So should I email you or?
No, you can just call me on the phone.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, guys. If you have any question or you need any help, you need tutor help or whatever, you want me to kind of pair up with somebody in the class to kind of help and so on and so forth, please let me know. You guys, enjoy this beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
All right.
Is the online class for both classes?
Online class for both classes because, as we're running towards the later end in our classes now, towards the end of the semester, we're probably going to have a lot more combined online classes. It's a lot more efficient, and then we can tackle the same question, once and for all, instead of kind of sending it back and forth. If the weather is great, then we'll probably have more face-to-face. If the weather is kind of a little bit like this, or I have something important that I think is going to be in the final, I will then do this online, because then we can actually record it together. Either way, I will communicate by email and then post on D2L. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night.